You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Hello and welcome back to the Integration Station, you beautiful souls. I'm happy to bring back a guest some of you may already know, Jesse Simpson. He's been on here before to talk about things like his service in the military and how psychedelics have helped him, talked about his travels, talked about becoming a new parent, all this kind of stuff. But this time we're going to have him on to talk about something that a lot of people are struggling with today. And it's a big thing that comes up in the integration space because this is where we're doing the real work. So Jesse's here to talk to us about abundance codes and finances and all that kind of good stuff today. Let's hear what he's got to teach us. I'm going to have him on to share a story, all that kind of good stuff. Hey, Jesse, welcome.
Hey, Ashley. Great to be back. Thanks so much for that introduction.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's always such a blessing. And I like that each time you're on, it's kind of like a little bit different, you know, new stories. You're always growing and changing and new things happening. So please let us know what's new and good, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. It's funny because I've done this. This will be my third show with you, and I really appreciate you bringing me back on. And every time it has been so different. My life has been moving very quickly the past few years, especially, and I have to like come up with like what my introduction is, like who am I? I'm like constantly thinking through that right now, but yeah, it's becoming more and more clear, and it feels good because I had been on a journey for like 5 years. About 5 years ago, I sold all my stuff, quit my childhood dream job as a firefighter, and took a one-way flight to Costa Rica with no real plans of ever coming home, and went on this like adventure to figure out, you know, what to do with my life because I was deeply unhappy. I was depressed. I was a firefighter of the year in the state of Arizona in 2017, and I was smoking weed at work. So I was in a really bad spot, having suicidal thoughts, and just ultimately like had to go. I had to like cut the cord, take a risk on myself, follow my heart, and figure out what comes next or what else there is more in this life instead of waiting around looking forward to retirement. And yeah, I've come back and my life has been an interesting full circle now. There's been many full circles that I've actually come through, but one of them now I'm now back in Arizona, what I had left before. I am starting a new business, Abundance Codes, where essentially we help conscious entrepreneurs fund the scale of their business without spending their own money. And ultimately, my mission is to help as many people as possible become healthy, wealthy, and free. I would say I'm a freedom fighter. And for as long as I've been alive, like my mission has been to help people become free. I was on the front lines as a Marine, served in combat in Afghanistan. I was a firefighter, as I said. And I've just been on the front line wanting to support people and create freedom or help them in some way. And I lived those experiences and realized that, well, arguably, well, for me, I didn't, as I've learned like later on in the military, like I wasn't really actually fighting for freedom. I was more so just perpetuating the military industrial complex. And as a firefighter, unfortunately, like 3% of the calls are fire, or maybe that's fortunate, I'm not sure. But either way, the vast majority of calls are mental health in nature. So we're not really helping those people in the way that they need help. And I just became really disenfranchised with the way we operate. And I had to like really move through a lot of illusions and conditioning, and ultimately popped out on the other side of this And as I step into abundance codes now, where we're supporting people through really one of the most challenging aspects, as finances are a system of control in our modern day world. And they're one of the toughest points right now with inflation and economic uncertainty and everything else. So I feel really like stepping into an authentic sense of purpose right now, as I'm stepping in to support people with this space, the financial space, the debt, the credit, these sort of things. And also showing up more powerfully now, feeling more responsible, because I have a daughter now. And that's new since we last spoke. My daughter's 6 months old. Her name's Ellie Hart. Ellie means the bringer of light. And she's just brought so much light into my life and just really shifted my focus, like popped me out of myself. And well, one way I thought about it was on that first trip when I took that flight to Costa Rica and spent like 2 years backpacking, that was for me. It had to be for me. I had to go figure out who I am. I had to get clear on like my perspective on the world instead of like all the things I've consumed over my life. And now I'm back. And what I see happening now is essentially I'm here to serve. I've went on this hero's journey and I've come back with the medicine that I think people are in desperate need of. So that's a bit about me right now, Ashley.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Like our stories have been, quite parallel in some ways. We were just sharing too about even with my brother recently, there's a parallel. But I think what everybody can relate on is that these finances are like a huge issue. We're in a silent depression right now. I was just looking to see, like, you really hit it with like inflation, these kinds of things. And we can tie it into why this is like an integration thing, why it's so important with legacy and everything. But for anybody who's like, I mean, it's hard to, not see it. But for anybody who's unaware, I'd really like to share a video. I'm going to see if I can do it now. It's just a little TikTok thing I came across just since you booked in this show. And I'm like, I got to share it. Let's see if I can find it. Sorry, Jesse.
No worries.
Maybe I will look for that and you can share a little bit more about what abundance codes is. And I'll find this video.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, so Abundance Codes, we are a 5D financial services company that helps people unlock abundance in their life and business. Essentially, we've uncovered the cheat codes in the credit system needed to unlock large amounts of business credit, which essentially can be used for anything an entrepreneur wants to use. So this is mostly for business owners, but we have strategies for debt discharge. We have full service credit repair, and we have an opportunity to essentially get $100,000 or more. And also, disclaimer real quick, I'm speaking mostly, I know you're in Canada, I'm speaking specifically around the United States. That being said, we do have some Canadians in our group right now. They're working to understand the system a bit more. The laws are different. The banks are a bit different, but there is a centralized system, a world government trying to be, thrown in our face, right? So it's similar but different. So I do want to make that disclaimer. What I'm coming from with all these things is specifically related to the United States. But that being said, for those that are here, and really anybody who's any country, you can look up this for yourself. Do you have access to 0% introductory offers for business credit cards? So we use this process known as credit stacking, where we can leverage a few different things, but we leverage our relationships with different banks and our knowledge of which banks pull from which credit bureaus. And we can unlock essentially, like I said, $100,000 or more in 0% interest business credit. So essentially it's free money, which can be used to start or scale a business, buy cash flowing real estate or other income generating assets, and essentially create freedom in your life. And that's what our mission is here at Abundance Code, is to help people everywhere become healthy, wealthy, and free.
It's necessary and possible. I just had that thing right here. It's I hope you guys can see that. I'm in a silent depression. Still learning. Can you guys see that or no? Or you just see my other screen?
It looks like it's your Telegram, and I see multiple different things.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna see about now that I found it. Share screen, window. So it doesn't open up the video. Oh my gosh. I wonder if I can just link it in.
Yeah, link
You
it
guys
in.
didn't hear that when I played it? Can you hear it?
I heard
Today, this is going to absolutely blow your mind.
You can or you can't?
Yeah, I can.
In 1930, during the Great Depression, the average home in America was $3,900. The average car was $600, and the average monthly rent was $18 or $216 a year, and the average salary was $1,300 for the year. Fast forward to today, it is $436,000 for the average home, 48 grand for the average car, and the average rent is $2,000 a month or $24,000 a year. And we have a $56,000 income for the average American right now. So if you look back to the Great Depression, the house was only 3 times the average salary. Now it is 8 times the average salary. The car was 46% of the salary. The car today is 85% of the salary. And here's the craziest part. The rent was 16% of the average salary. It is now 42% of the average salary.
When I watched that, I sent that to everybody. I'm like, it's not inflation. This is like, a mask or a cover up for this like depression that we're in. It shows there's a lot of people depressed. There's a lot of people on medications. There's a lot of people taking their lives. A lot of people in Canada that have signed up to maids. And, there's no, saying, no, I changed my mind when it comes to a lot of these things, but there is this opportunity on the other end. This is a problem. When we can acknowledge it's a problem, then we can start finding solutions. We can tap into our inner John Lennon, for every problem, there's a solution or more, multiple solutions. And you're here to bring us some great ones. So what are some things that you've been figuring out, sharing as solutions? What are some possible solutions to get people from essentially like the hell that they're in, spending more than they're making, putting it on their credit card, to actually seeing some results and feeling more free?
Yeah, 100%. Great question, Ashley. And I'm having this conversation now on a daily basis, just as a new father now, and the people that I'm sort of attracting are that there's a lot of parents out there, and all of them are, pretty much all of them, not all of them, I guess, not all of them, but a lot of the ones that are coming in around debt specifically are like totally drowning in debt. There's no way they can get out of it. They have they're stuck. They're totally jammed up. And number ones, I'm like 3 that I'm thinking of now, like having babies in the next few months. Right. So they're going to get busier and ultimately push into a position where they have to step out of it. And I believe that right now that if you're a parent listening to this, and you're stuck in scarcity, you are the one that's responsible for breaking that cycle of scarcity in your family tree. That's why it's being presented to you. It's a massive opportunity, and I see what Abundance Codes is able to provide as a real solution to that. And there's something that came up in 1930 was interesting. There's an event that happened in 1933 that I would like to share, but why don't I want to get into your question here? Maybe we can come back to that if it's relevant, because I thought that was interesting.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let me just hit on that real quick. It's right. It's just right on my mind. And then ask me your question. I might forget afterwards.
Absolutely.
And again, I'm thinking in terms of the United States, but similar things are happening all over the world right now. But in 1933, the guy in the TikTok video mentioned 1930. 1933, FDR, the president, issued Executive Order 6102, which effectively required all U.S. citizens to surrender their gold to the federal government. Essentially, what he did was he mandated stealing the real asset, the real gold. We have a fake fiat currency. There's nothing backing it right now. That's why, and you can look this up in your country. Google this. If I don't pay back my credit card debt, will I go to jail? The answer is no. Why? Because there's no real tangible value. There's this sort of consensus value on our fiat currency system. But previously, if you didn't pay back your debts, you would go to jail. Why? because they were backed with real substance, with real gold. Well, in 1933, in the midst of the United States' third bankruptcy as a country, essentially FDR stole the, whatever you want to call that, man. Here's the mandates back then too, right? But they're stealing the gold from the American people. It's like the ultimate act of treason. Essentially, then what he did with this being the third bankruptcy for the United States, he sold this to the Fed, which is a private bank owned by foreign interests. It's not a federal company. It's not a government entity. It's a private bank. The Federal Reserve is a private bank owned by foreign interests, right? So that's who regulates our economy, and for those who didn't know. But either way, what he did was he sold. He essentially, when you are going in for a loan, which is the government is going for a loan, quote unquote, a loan from the Fed, a lot of times they'll be collateralized or they'll be secured. And the way, like, so your house, for example, so if you stop paying on your house, then they're going to take your house. It's collateralized in that way. Well, in the case of the United States, the government backed the debt with the future work of the American people, pledging us. Exactly. Pledging
like
us as
birth certificates and all that kind of stuff too, right? Like it is real slave papers, and it's not like a white supremacy thing. This is a war on all peoples. It's anybody who bleeds red. It's not, I love Kid Rock. He's banned in like 86 countries right now, but he has this line in one of his new songs. He's like, Black Lives, he does like the Black Lives Matter and like their voice from the media, and he's like, no shit, or no shit, motherfucker. Yes. And then he goes on like about like just, bringing us all like together, that's what it is like. It's not about the indigenous and what happened with them and what's happened with Asians and what's happened with the other Indians and what's happened with Africans and Jamaicans and everything. It's like, it's what's happened to the people, what is common in history. And, and once you can find those connections, that's why I love the integration space, right? Bringing it all together. It's like, it's so easy to complex it or to divide things up. What takes more heart, the heart that psychedelics brings us, is that oneness, right? What does bring it all together? I know I went off track a little bit, but thank you for sharing that. I'll let you bring it back. Where you were. For
sure. Well, yeah, I appreciate that. No, you're speaking exactly what you finished my thought, better than I would have been able to. Essentially, that was it. He did, or whoever was responsible for this. And there's actually a really good book called Fruit from a Poisonous Tree, not dangerous tree. Fruit from a Poisonous Tree. That really opened my mind to a lot of these things. Just laid everything out very clearly. But essentially, back the debt with the future work of the American people. Then comes taxes, and then all these other things. But the cool thing about this, and this is where debt discharge comes in, and again, the United States. But ultimately, like when a legislative body passes a statute, especially those that are unconstitutional, which Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution states that no government, no state can make anything but gold and silver coin legal tender, which right from the get-go makes fiat currency unconstitutional. There's ways they circumvented that, and they've added these different laws. I don't want to get into now unless it comes up. It might be a little too much. But ultimately, like, it's unconstitutional. Fiat currency, going into a little bit more. Like Thomas Jefferson talked about how the greatest threat to the future of the United States is not a standing army. It's a central bank. Central bank. That's what's running our country now. We're living in what he warned us about, right? And think about another way on this, like the two presidents, guess the two presidents who went against the Fed during their candidacy. Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy, both of who were assassinated. Right. So this is deep. It's crazy. But ultimately, we're alive right now because we're the ones responsible for restoring order in our life, taking back ownership. And just to tighten that up real quick, there's a remedy for this. Since this is unconstitutional, there's ways to get around not paying these debts back. Discharging means freeing from obligation. And it's a massive opportunity. So that's one way we help people, although it's not our main focus. And getting back to your question, essentially understanding this entire system is unconstitutional, understanding the entire system is built on fraud, it's like literally built to make us citizens debt slaves, getting us to love our servitude and like essentially just work.
Create your own prison camp. You know, in World War II, they made their camps, but now it's like, welcome to your fun pod. We've got free Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Well, you know, exactly. There's a lot of, I drove through a lot of 15-minute cities. I saw signs for 15-minute cities. I drove through several different fires and have gotten text messages and things from all that too. You know, there's big things going on. I'm grateful our producer lets us like, you know, bring these things up when it's relevant. But, you know, these are like those moments when it is. There's not a lot you can trust. There's not a lot you can invest in right now. But what you can secure is your own liberties, your own freedom, your own skills, your own legacy, the things that you can control, you know, and then you'll be able to attract the abundance of other people and other networks and communities that are on the same page, you know. But it comes first with, you know, you have to get yourself out of that slave game. You know, you have to recognize that you are one and want to free yourself from it, because, you know, even the things that you think that you love and that you want and that you're protecting, they're not actually the same things that bring you joy. You know, it's an illusion. A lot of it's Jones effect. That pressure that a lot of people feel to keep up with the Joneses is all part of the trap, you know, and that's hence a lot of these disorders.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, to me, and what like you're saying, well, what you're saying brought up for me was like there's a split happening ultimately, and there are people who, you know, unfortunately won't wake up. They will be happy maybe at some point in some way, you know, nothing and be happy in their 15-minute city, whatever it is. And I really,
people already live in them. Like I didn't even recognize it at first when I saw it. I like felt sick, and then my mom started singing "Little Boxes on the Side." And I'm like, oh man, I was like, that's what it is. I'm like, yeah, we gotta go, you know. And so we did, but it was a crazy experience, and there was people living there. People are happy with that. These shows are not for those people. These shows are for the people who want to liberate themselves or are already on that path.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And this is who I like to be talking to anyways. You know, people are in integration station doing psychedelics. As we've talked in previous episodes, for both of us, you know, psychedelics has totally transformed my life. When I left back in 2018, in June 2018, and then August, like a couple months later, I went to my first ayahuasca retreat, and then essentially, you know, that just opened my entire heart up and changed my life and made me feel this like deep connection to all of life and this pervading unconditional love. And it's been a journey to like integrate that and those sort of things. But I've been on a number of different journeys since then. I was hosting retreats in Colombia for a little while as well. And that's when we originally got connected. But one common theme, and I've been doing a lot of men's work and stuff like that with some different men's groups. But one common theme for like these people that are waking up is they're flat broke and they're spending their last dollar to get to these retreats or whatever.
And they want to help. Like they want to be a service. They are like, you know, yes. Sorry to interrupt. I'm just excited.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then this is the thing. That's why this is the perfect conversation to be having right now, because we're aligning this and you know, there's people listening to this, you know, that are struggling financially. And that's the reality for the vast majority of people out there because of those things we've hit on. And there's been a lot of, it's very like hopeless situation, and Abundance Codes is here. This is exactly what we do. This is why I'm like literally born alive during this time, is to bring this through to people, to help them on this front lines of essentially financial freedom in order to create more abundance in their life. And the beautiful thing about what we offer here, Ashley, which is really hard to get, it's simple once you get it. It takes a little bit of time to be like, oh, wow. And that's how it hit me too. Like, oh, damn. But really what we're able to do is you're essentially not spending any of your own money. You don't have to spend any of your own money. If you're an entrepreneur, or you current or aspiring entrepreneur, or you're a parent and you have this idea of Airbnb arbitrage or like getting property or acquiring assets, look, this is not financial advice, but we're on the cusp of another crypto bull market. There's been tens of thousands of millionaires made off of cryptocurrency. And again, I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm saying just because there's chaos right now and it's a silent depression, I like how you phrase that, doesn't mean there's not an abundance of opportunity. Yes. And through abundance codes, you don't even have to spend your own money. Right? You spend very little of your own money, a few $100s to get started, and we can unlock $100,000 or more in 0% business credit, which essentially gives you a 12 to 18 month runway of paying zero interest, which interest is the fraud. Interest is a fraud. It's not 25%, 20, 30% of interest, variable rate interest. Like it's totally unconstitutional. It's a fraudulent system. That's how you become a debt slave, because this was my experience. This is how I got into this. People are paying off their debts, or they think, but really, if you have $30,000 US dollars in credit card debt, you're paying like $750 at least in interest payments alone. You're not even paying off the principal balance. Well, the opportunity with 0% interest business credit is you can leverage this $100,000 or more in 0%. It's free money. It's actually like lawful, like good opportunity to leverage good debt, to acquire assets, to start or scale your business, ramp up your coaching practice, start your venture, whatever you want to do. Like, you're alive to bring something to the world. And the biggest problem that people have from bringing that thing to the world is they don't know how they're going to do it. What that means to me is they don't know how they're going to afford to do that. Well, with Abundance Code, you no longer have that excuse, because we solved that problem for you. And again, you spend very little of your own money. There's minimal risk. It's completely legal. All you got to do is step in and claim the abundance that is yours by birthright.
Yeah, these little guys, the Abundance Code
like,
right
yes. Here. They're barking. They're like, amen.
Amen. Oh.
Funny.
On that, Jesse, do you have any advice for anybody, if they feel like they have a passion that they want to do in an entrepreneurial way, or for anybody who's already on that path? What is something that they could sit and meditate on while we go to commercial break, and we can get into, the meat of it when we get back?
Yeah, for sure. That's a great question. You had that little bar going beneath. I don't know if that's going anymore. There it is. There it is. Now is the time to step up and bring your vision into being before the powers that be impose theirs upon us. That's the thing. Get clear on your vision. What do you want for your life? Because there's people that have visions, and they put them out there: 15-minute cities, oh, nothing, be happy, total control, those sort of things, right? So that's the vision for one facet of maybe semi-human life that's currently on this planet. But we're humans too. We get to have a faculty of imagination. We get to create our vision for our life. And there's billions of people here. Once we come together, as you were hitting on before, we have so much similarities, way more than we are different. And once we own that and we come to our collective vision, or ultimately, like, forget the collective vision, that's too sensitive. Your personal vision for your family and community. And then you work towards that. So that would be what I'd say. Get clear on what you want. Because if you're focusing on what you don't want, or you're obsessed, and I've been here too, on the black pill or the World Economics Forum vision, or what's happening in Hawaii, which I've again been in there too. Like, if you're focused on those visions, then you're giving them energy, which is not only reinforcing that vision, but it's taking you away from yours. So I think that's the first step everyone needs to sit with. What is the vision you have for your life?
Thank you, Jesse. That's a good one. Yeah, I encourage everybody, I'm going to share our sponsors. They're doing work that they love doing. There's hope. There's a lot of people doing what they love. If you've been laid off or anything like that, use it as an opportunity to do something better, because chances are you didn't like that job. Like Jesse here, prime example, did not want to go back. Universe said, you don't have to, man. Here you go. So, and it's been beneficial. It's allowed you the time and opportunity to switch things up a little bit. So, I'm going to just share our peeps here, and we'll have you right back.
Okay.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop.
Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you a cannabis content creator? Are you looking for a place to have your content seen? If you answer yes to both questions, then you need to check out cbgtv.com. CBG TV, broadcasting to a worldwide audience. Find us at cbgtv.com.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor. If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Legacy 420 have an awesome array of cannabis-infused beverages, from pop to Nature's Nectar's teas, all in amazing flavors. What a selection! We even have a delicious mango-infused juice, and let me tell you, it's delicious.
Everything is infused in-house, so we buy our syrup from the same place where everybody else buys their syrup for their pop, and the infusion is done in the lab. It's all canned here, labeled here, produced 100% on Tyendinaga.
We have two lines of drinks. One's called our Nature's Nectar. That was our original line that we came out with, and then we also have a line under the Red E brand. We have them in 10 milligrams, 30 milligram, and 60 milligram cans.
What a great selection for a get-together with friends or after a long day. Remember, if you want to wet your whistle with on-site lab-tested products, come see your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hi, I welcome you all back. I welcome you back with your vision as well.
That's right.
Jesse, I'm hoping you can walk us through, what happens next. We've got that vision, or we're on path as an entrepreneur. What's next step for Abundance Codes?
Well, with Abundance Codes, it's reach out. Action_Jesse. We're building right now. We have a website right now, abundancecodes.org. I'm not sure when this will be released, or it's live, I guess, right? So it's released right now. So it's not going to be totally relevant. I've totally transformed the business. We're shifting the entire direction of it to what I'm just talking about now. But the best thing to do would be, if you're here in the U.S. or a U.S. citizen, reach out to me on Instagram and let me know, and we'll set up a free credit strategy call. Because the foundation of all this, in order to get large amounts, it's all based off of your credit score, your personal credit score. There's a number of things we can do other than full service credit repair, like you can get anything removed from your credit score. But there's a number of other things we do to increase that score. We have a number of people that popped up above 800, and the banks want to loan money, large amounts, to people who have great credit like this. So we'll work to fix up your credit, and then we'll essentially set up your business. It's a done for you process. And then we'll get you funded within 2 to 4 weeks is our goal, but it depends upon a number of factors. So no guarantees on that. But if you want to get started, you just have to reach out. The invitation is there. Like, this is why I'm here. I want to support you in activating why you're here, and not worry about how you're going to afford to do that.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. Like, honestly, that's one thing that we've been doing more at Elemental Growth too. It's like we left it open to just all donations. It took a lot of pressure off in general, but also it's like, you know, some people can do it, sometimes some people can't. And the worst is saying, no, I can't help somebody desperate because we're desperate ourselves. And it's like, part of abundance is just opening up and trusting that the abundance is going to be there. So I love that you're doing that, and, you know, just sitting and consulting like that, because, you know, it's something that, you know, a lot of people right now aren't making enough to pay for their living expenses. So it's going on their credit card. It's not, you know, for a lot of, you know, some people do spend their money foolishly. I'm not like saying that that doesn't happen, but there are a lot of families that aren't living extravagantly, and, you know, it's just regular expenses like bananas, and, you know, that's going on there. You know, it's sad. You know, it's, you can get a box of snack packs for $3, or you can pay $5.99 for a thing of strawberries, you know, that likely have chemicals on it, you know, and it's a different world. You know, what are some more steps to start thinking outside of the problems and into the solutions, get into that freedom mindset, that abundance mindset?
Yeah, that's a great question. And yeah, the first thing that comes up to me is just recognizing we're in this system, like this old centralized system with top-down control, but we're moving towards, you know, a community, a smaller, autonomous, community-based way of life. You're hitting on food having poison in it. It definitely does. Like, it's very obvious. Like, in the United States, you can look up the water quality of your area across the board. Hundreds of times more than the recommended amounts. There's known carcinogens in the water, right? It's we're being poisoned from the food we eat, pharmaceuticals, air,
all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's
exactly.
All those oil spills that happen in Hawaii, Ohio. You know, your president hasn't even been there. It's been 6 months. He can go across the world, but he won't go in and see his people and help his people. This is a different time. This is, you know, this is the time to take control of yourself and your family, you know, because nobody else is going to do it for you. You were born to take responsibility. We all were. And it's not an easy thing to do, but, you know, these are some good steps to start. You know, have a vision that's stronger than the chaos. You know, have a dream instead of the hell, because it's easy. Like, we see it collectively. We see it. We feel it. You know, but what are some other things that we can do here?
Yeah, you're getting to a lot of it. So I would say, number one, the vision. Where do you want your life to be? Where do you want to go? Then finding aligned community, finding people who want a similar vision, who want to be free, like whatever that is. And then ultimately, like, working together to create that reality. As simple as that. But the reality is, with this, you know, you have to have funding for that, which is what Abundance Codes does. That's who we want to work with. People who want to, like, New Earth, like, it's a little out there. And I do say what we are is a 5D financial services company. And what I mean by that specifically is 5D to me is like the dimension of the heart. And what I mean by how we support these people who are community leaders, entrepreneurs, we help them create a life that they love so they can be surrounded by people that they love. That's literally why we're here. And ultimately, I think maybe that's as simple as it is. That's what I'm doing. I'm using abundance codes to create my community, humans in harmony, so I can live in harmony with my family, with other people, and the world around us. And I think that's maybe the point of it all, is to just live in harmony and have fun with our friends and our family, and obviously separate ourselves as much as necessary from those centralized systems, which means we have to become self-independent. and we don't have to do it ourselves. I think, especially in Western culture, it's like, I don't know how it is in Canada, but a lot of people like don't know their neighbors. Like we live in very siloed, individualistic sort of culture. And, you know, we're going to have to revolve past that, where our smaller communities are leveraging each other's resources and experience and expertise and all these sort of things to grow in whatever way we see. And you're going to need funding for that. And that's what Abundance Codes does. So I think those are the three things. Get clear on what you want, find the people that want to do it with, and come together to make that vision your reality.
I would love all of that, but I'd like to add something else, you know, and I think that this is an important piece. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I know it's for sure helped with my mindset, helped me learn to like trust and know that the universe, you know, like not just trust it, but like believe that the universe is like really going to provide, that nature is abundant, you know, it helps. And that's travel. That's something that you did a lot of too. And that shifts the mindset a lot, is getting out of your current environment, seeing something else, seeing somebody that's worse off than you, seeing nature that's different than you, seeing how people survive in a different area than you, seeing different standards, different belief systems, different ways of life. It's so expansive, and it allows you this other perspective that things are bigger. Things are bigger than just what your little tiny bubble is, which it can be chaos, it can be hell, or it could be heaven, or it could be expanded. One of the things I love about psychedelics is like whenever you're like inside a box, it's like the psychedelics will come in, they'll lift up the box and be like, hey, who are you in there? How are you doing? And then you're like, oh, I've broken through. And then the next time you do psychedelics, it's like, oh, hey, who's in that box? Oh, you know, it's like every time is this new layer of, you know, if you embrace it and you embrace life, you'll see that there's levels in that as well. You know, there's going to be levels in the money, there's levels in trauma work, there's levels in the psychedelic breakthrough experiences too.
Yeah, I love that. And I didn't bring that through, but I think that's just incredibly important. Like in order to like get clear in the vision, find your people, these sort of things, you got to have like some sort of, I believe, you know, you ultimately have to, you're gonna have to have a change of perspective. And I think traveling is one of the best ways to do that. I think psychedelics is one of the best ways to do that. Another thing that I would add in there too is like developing some sort of spiritual practice, like having faith in a higher power, whatever that would look like. And I'm not talking about like a religious institution's belief in what they say and dictate for you. I'm talking about like a deep connection with the fact that, you know, we are spiritual beings having a human experience in a 3D reality, but we're evolving. The world is evolving. Everything's changing right now. And so I think really owning that and connecting with that is absolutely vital to maintaining focus on the vision, to living from that heart space, and to moving forward in this and creating that world without as much fear and more connection. I think it'll be vital to have that consistency and that connection moving forward from here.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's such important stuff. I'm curious if there's anything else. We've got about, like, I guess 10, 15 minutes here. Like, what else can we pick your brain about?
That's a great question. You let me know. Let's see.
One of the things that always like brings me back to having you on is just how you transform through things with ease. I'm sure it's not with as much ease as maybe it seems, like, but you have a way of doing it. A lot of other people struggle through it and will resist it and resist it and resist the change for years and never have that opportunity of breaking through into this new dimension. You know, you've gone from being that kid at home having a hard time to being in the military, going through other things there. You had the firefighter. Like, these are all transitions. Now you've become a parent, you're in the money space, you've done all sorts of different things, you know, but you've allowed the transformation, you've allowed the change. How do you make it through that resistance? How do you just allow? Or
That's a great question. I appreciate that reflection too. I had recently thought about, like, I don't give myself enough credit a lot of times, and I'm like always like doing stuff like sometimes it's a little ridiculous, and my daughter's slowing me down a bit. It's becoming more clear that I need to like enjoy more and have more fun and be a bit more lighthearted and stuff. But I'm also like here for purpose, and also need to enjoy that. But what I had was reflecting on it when I gave myself a little moment to honor my journey. I have essentially been like in a constant state of transition my entire life. Like I got kicked out of my house as a freshman in high school, and then I've been on a journey. Like I've been doing so many different things. I've lived so many different lives, it seems like, and like it's just only just begun. Like I feel like it's just begun, and I'm stepping into more and more what feels like to be authentically me and serving in this way. But yeah, to answer your question, well, last year I had this moment of reflection as well. Like I sharing my story. Some people like to hear about my story, my travels. You know, it's just kind of like who I am at this point. But some people, a lot of people, most people haven't done what I've done, whether it's military and fire service, or it's like selling all your shit, taking a one-way flight to Costa Rica, or like hosting retreats. I've lived a lot of unique experiences, and I'm very grateful for that because they've taught me a lot. But when I was sharing this with some people, I actually took a job last year. I was working there for about a year, got laid off. That's what you hit at right before the break. Just got laid off last month, which was a true blessing. It's unbelievable. I can't believe I got laid off. It was such a cool thing. But yeah, when I was reflecting some coworkers last year on this, I just felt like I was in a flow. I was telling them, I'm like, yeah, I'm just like feel like I'm in this river of life. Like it seems cheesy, but like I'm in this flow, and it's just like taking me where I need to go. And what I think it is, what became clear to me when I did go out and start this traveling experience 5 years ago was I decided what I wanted to do. On the New Year's Eve going into 2018, I spoke out loud, I'm moving to Costa Rica. I made that decision. And I've been studying my human design. I'm a self-projected projector. Essentially, I have to talk to myself to confirm ideas and stuff, or if anybody knows human design. And so for me, that was like, oh shit, I'm fucking going to Costa Rica. And ever since I made that decision, I didn't worry about, oh my God, how am I going to afford it? Where am I going to end up? Or like, what the F's going to happen? Or where do I go after Costa Rica? I never thought about any of those things. One guy reflected that to me as being a little irresponsible. Yeah, maybe so. But I'm totally on my path right now. And what I'm realizing is all you have to do, what I did was get clear on where I wanted to go. And I take that first step. Take the first step. The next step always appears. It always does. It's just there. And like, oh, okay, I'll go here now. And that's been my experience. And so what I've done is I've surrendered a lot. I've let go of the need in one area of my life to control, to have to know everything about what's going to happen. And I've decided to trust that I will be fully supported and just guarantee that anyone who does will be supported. And I'm not saying quit your job and travel the world, but I'm just saying trust that you're being supported. All you have to do is get clear on what you want and take the first freaking step. And then you'll have your answer. And that's what I've done. That's what I've done the past 5 years. Like, everything is just falls into my lap, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go here. And I'm like following the gifts from the universe that are guiding me to where I am meant to be.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that too. It's like, I'm not telling you to just like quit and travel. It's like, absolutely not. It's not about doing what somebody else has done to get their life. It's about taking from like a bunch of people that you're inspired to, taking what resonates and building your own life and your own path and your own way through that. This is like the integration, take where it is that you are now with where it is that you want to be and figure out what that dissonance is, because that's your roadmap. Those complaints, those things that aren't working in your life, those fears, that's your roadmap to that vision, to those tangible action steps, Jesse, to take that action. You make things happen.
That's exactly right. Yeah. yeah, it made me think about, I had recently got connected with a Marine that I served with, and I've been out since 2011, so, so it's been like 12 years or whatever. So it's a totally different lifetime ago. But I said, hey man, what's going on? And his response to me was, same shit, different day. I'm like, damn, he's probably been saying that this entire time. Like, how many of you listening to this are saying or thinking that exact same thing? If that's the case, what's that?
Groundhog Day. No, it's another one we hear.
Yep, exactly. Like, you're the one that's responsible for creating the life that you desire. And if you're unhappy with where you're at, no one's going to come save you. And I think really just owning that reality, as uncomfortable as it is, and moving forward with like a clear vision of direction on what you want with your life, then you can start to make moves. And I believe like you're going to be totally supported. But you got to trust. You got to have faith. You got to develop faith in a higher power. Psychedelics, I think, is a great resource to expanding that awareness. But ultimately, like, you are the one that integration, right? You're the one that has to do the work. So that's the opportunity here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. So we've got some codes. Is there like anything else that you would add? Is there like a master code? Is there something we haven't touched on yet that could, just maybe inspire somebody else to take some action, or, just something we haven't touched on for like those people where they're like, yeah, but.
That's a great question. The biggest, we're trying to really simplify this. I think so we've hit on a lot of it. It's ultimately like, get clear on your vision, move forward on that. We're going to be able to help you fuel that. That's the biggest block for a lot of people. But to like get there are some qualifications that need to be in order. You need to have a credit score of 740 or above, really. And if you're not there, then that's the work. And what I'm realizing with this, Ashley, like, talk about integration, talk about shadow work. People's finances and their credit score right now is the ultimate shadow work, because it's like a right there in your face number that assesses where you've been at financially throughout your life. And people are being dragged back by that, and they're not willing to look at it. So I think the first thing to do is see where you're at. You have to see where you're at. After you get clear on where you want to go, you got to know where you're at. That way you can chart the path to get there. It's simple as that. So I think having those awarenesses will be really helpful for people, and just some people don't even like have any idea what that even like their credit score is. So I think becoming familiar with those things, I don't think it'll be.
You can do like Borrowwell or creditkarma.com. You can get them for free. There's creditkarma.com in US. It's .ca in Canada. And then Borrowwell, if you can use both of those, you usually get a pretty accurate. You can mail away for your credit score. Mine is pretty good. I started out life very young, like you, Jesse. So like I made all my mistakes really freaking young. So, by the time I got to this age, I was like, I'm doing all right. But I also still I'm not making the same investments as a lot of people. I don't spend my money the same as a lot of people. I really see money as every dollar as a vote for the world I want to live in. Of course I do, give in to, things. I'm not the Dalai Lama here. But this is the culture that we live in, and our lifestyle traveling, we make exceptions and have a little fun too. But ultimately, I think what a good step is, and something that really, really helped me, was doing a money audit. So I essentially just took all the receipts for the things that I was buying, and I'm like, okay, does this make me happy? Does this feel good? Is this necessary? Would I rather do something else with this? And I'm a little OCD, so I had different colors for different things. I, took a real good look at what I was spending, where that money was going. It wasn't about where I want to spend my money or the things that were bugging me in my mind. It was about literally looking at receipts and finding out where I am now and admitting that to myself. And then I took care of business.
Yep. I love that. Yeah, I love the idea of money on it. Budgeting, those sort of things will be super helpful. Like you're talking about shadow work right there.
Yeah.
So
you have to see it.
Exactly. Bring it into the light. That's what integrating the
that's
shadow
how you
is.
See the shadow.
Exactly. 100%. Thanks for bringing that through.
Yeah. Thank you too, Jesse. Just one more time, if you want to let everybody know how they can find you, contact you, all that kind of good stuff, then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, that sounds great. So thanks so much, Ashley. It's been so fun. I enjoyed doing these. So I'm realizing this is live. So if someone's listening to this live right now, I'm actually hosting a masterclass in 2 hours from now, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, where I'm going to be going over how to unlock abundance, get it more into the details of what this looks like. So that's an option. I do have masterclasses. I'm hosting them about once a month right now. So the best way to get a hold of me is on action_Jesse here on Instagram. In my link tree on my bio, you'll see the next masterclass. So I encourage you to sign up for that if you're interested, whether it's today or in the future, or check out abundance codes. Not today, please, but give me a little bit of time, probably by the end of the month, the website will be updated and ready to go. And then ultimately, you just gotta, what you got there?
Your Instagram.
There is me.
Yeah, where's your link tree? Link tree right there. Oh, I didn't get the
that
right
wasn't
one.
it.
Sorry, you keep talking. I'll see what I got here.
No.
There we go.
It's like Vanna White right here. All right, there it is. Unlock Abundance Masterclass right there at the top. Boom. That's it. Yeah, and just really just let's do this. Like, we're responsible for creating the new earth. So why not be the ones to step up and create it? Like, people are doing this.
Yeah.
People are doing this right now. Why not let that be you?
Exactly. You know, this is about taking responsibility. This is the Toltec path to freedom. The, best integration work you can do is to free yourself from all of it. And, there are some rules to that Toltec path to freedom, but the most important is taking 100% radical responsibility for everything in your life. If that means reparenting yourself because you had a shitty upbringing, then do it. If it means getting your finances in order so that you can live a more abundant life and not be part of this depression, instead find opportunities, then make those changes. If you want a legacy for your children, it starts now. It starts by planting a tree, planting a seed, and planting these in the minds of our children through our action steps. It's your skill set and the things that you're doing every day that's planting those seeds for our children. Not just your children, but like any child that's in your life. Yeah. Thank you, Jesse. Boom.
Boom.
Where's the dog? Oh!
Oh, that was the dog's at. That was good. Exactly right, Ashley. Thanks so much.
Thank you too, Jesse. Okay, we'll do our close. Stay behind. We'll have a little chat after, but I'll put the clothes on now. We'll see you guys all later. Make sure you check this man out. Action Jesse. Take action in your life.
That's right.
Bye for now.
See y'all.
You're listening to the Pace Radio. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.